Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green. If you've never touched a Pokemon game in your life, this may be your best point and best opportunity to get into one. We're talking about these remakes. A remake of the original monster collecting adventure that started a global phenomenon, but polished, modernized, and way more welcoming to newcomers. So if you're new to this series or you just need a refresher on Pokemon, you've come to the right place. It's your boy BigDonSkillz, and here we go. So maybe you're wondering, what exactly is Pokemon? What's the combat about? Is there a story? And which game should I even start at? I'll break it down for you. At its core, Pokemon is about capturing these unique creatures. You're training them, you're leveling them up, and you're battling other opponents known as Pokemon trainers. The plot is very straightforward. You come from a very small town known as Pallet Town, and you're on a quest to capture Pokemon, be the best that you can be, and defeat gym leaders to become the champion. These gym leaders have Pokemon of different types, and this is where the combat and the gameplay gets into perspective. In Pokemon, you're battling with these Pokemon that you capture. They learn different moves as you level them up, and they even evolve into stronger Pokemon. They're all divided into different types. For example, fire, water, electric, and grass are just a few of the types. They have different stats that determine their play style. For example, every Pokemon has an attack stat, defensive stat, a speed stat, as well as a special attack stat and a special defense stat. The combat is represented by a rock, paper, scissors style of combat. For example, a fire type move is going to beat a grass move. A water type move will beat a fire move, but an electric type will beat a water type. Some of these have resistances to one another too, or are even completely ineffective against each other. The combat of Pokemon is what's known as a turn-based RPG. A turn-based role-playing game involves you taking turns by choosing your attacks and then playing out the scenario together. Each Pokemon can learn up to 4 moves at a time, and whenever there's a new move, you'll have to make a decision and replace one move that you may have had an affection for. It's a combat style that's very, very easy to understand in its core, but very, very difficult to master when you factor that there are so many variety of moves and so many different ways that you can outfit your Pokemon to a certain playstyle. So let's dive a little bit more about the story. In Pokemon Fire Red or Leaf Green, you're going to begin in Pallet Town. You meet Professor Oak, who's a researcher who gives you your first Pokemon. This is the most iconic part of Pokemon and one of the biggest parts of discussion. You choose between one of 3 Pokemon. Bulbasaur, who's a grass type, Charmander, who's a fire type, or Squirtle, who's a water type. This will be your main companion and one of your strongest Pokemon as you take your journey through Kanto. Although a very simple plot, as you're on your journey to become the very best like no one ever was, there's trouble stirring amiss. Team Rocket is a criminal organization that are causing a lot of mayhem around in the Kanto area, and you may run into them and have some encounters with them. But it's a game not with a very, very heavy focus on the story, but more on the adventure and the uniqueness of everyone's playthrough. What's the difference between this and the original games? I know Pokemon Red and Blue, but I've never heard of these. Well, these are remakes of the very, very first Pokemon games and a lot of fan favorites. The original games, although great and fun for their time, have a lot of glitches. Graphically, they haven't aged very well. There's a lot of issues that may not be welcoming to a newcomer. This game fixes every issue. It even has guides that help introduce beginners into the game. It's changed everything for the better and is one of the times where I can say the remake is better than the original in every way. I will always recommend playing the originals as a Pokemon fan, but I think this is the perfect place to start. Whether you're new to the series, you're a returning OG, you're a fan favorite, or you want to get your kids, your significant others, this is the great starting point. Graphically, it still looks great for its time, and the mechanics, the Pokemon, is just enough content to where you can very much enjoy this game with anybody. I've mentioned how this is such a great game for newcomers, but it is just a very good example of how to do a remake and how to introduce people into the series. With this being the very first game in its series, it can usually be the worst in the series. Fire Red and Leaf Green is an example of how something can be great, especially when given a slight paint of coating and some modernization. So what are the differences between Fire Red and Leaf Green? The main differences are going to be version exclusive Pokemon. Fire Red are going to have certain Pokemon that are only obtainable on that version, and Leaf Green are going to have the same thing. Certain Pokemon are only obtainable in one game or the other. This encourages you trading with your friends. For example, Growlithe is a fire Pokemon that is found only in Fire Red, while Vulpix is a fire Pokemon that is found exclusively in Pokemon Leaf Green. If you have a friend, you could trade locally with them because maybe that's a Pokemon that you prefer, or you want to fill out your Pokédex collection. Also, despite this game being a remake of the original Pokemon, this released right after the third set of games, also known as the third generation. So once you beat this game, you'll have access to Pokemon and battles with Pokemon Ruby, Pokemon Sapphire, and Pokemon Emerald, which are the third generation of Pokemon games. So despite this being a remake of Generation 1, you'll have full access to those later Pokemon that weren't originally found in Kanto once you complete the game. I hope this video was informative to my many newcomers of Pokemon. Whether you are young, whether you are old, whether you haven't played since the original games, this video is for you. So I hope you enjoyed it. And for everybody out there, if you haven't played or haven't copped these games, let me know which version you want to get. If you're Pokemon Fire Red or Pokemon Leaf Green. But thank y'all so much. As always, if you enjoyed the video, you gotta like it, you gotta subscribe, and you gotta let me know what I actually helped you with. I would love to do more informative videos like this, as well as I plan on recording and doing my full playthrough of Pokemon Fire Red or Leaf Green. So thank y'all so much for watching the video, and if you have anything else, let me know. It's been fun. It's your boy BigDonSkillz signing out. Deuces. Peace out.